Peter Doig. Peter Doig is one of the most influential landscape painters living today. Born in Scotland and raised partly in Trinidad, his work carries a quiet tension between cold northern forests and humid tropical light. That contrast shapes everything he paints. When you stand in front of a Doig painting, you are not just looking at a place, you are stepping into a memory. Snow-covered cabins sit under violet skies. Canoes drift across still water. Palm trees glow against deep cinematic darkness. His landscapes feel real, but something is slightly off. The colors are too intense. The shadows feel too heavy. The space feels suspended in time. Doig does not paint landscapes as direct observation. He often works from photographs, film stills, or personal memories. Then he transforms them. He builds up layers of paint slowly, allowing drips, textures, and unexpected marks to remain visible. The surface becomes alive. Thick passages of color sit next to thin, stained washes. It creates depth, but also mystery. What makes Doig powerful is his refusal to explain everything. His figures are often distant or turned away. His houses feel occupied, yet silent. His forests are beautiful, but slightly unsettling. There is always a sense that something has happened or is about to happen. Over the years, major retrospectives at institutions like Tate Britain and the Art Institute of Chicago have confirmed his status. Yet despite the acclaim, his paintings still feel personal. They are not loud. They do not try to impress. They pull you in slowly. Daniel Heidkamp. Daniel Heidkamp paints light the way some artists paint emotion. Based in New York, he has built a strong reputation for landscapes and interiors that feel warm, open, and completely alive. His scenes often come from real places he has visited, especially in France, Italy, and upstate New York. But what makes his work stand out is not just the location, it is the atmosphere. Heidkamp works from plein air studies and on-site sketches. He observes carefully. Then back in the studio, he rebuilds those moments with bold, confident brushstrokes. Sunlight spills across tiled floors. Faded walls glow in soft pinks and yellows. Mediterranean villas feel weathered but radiant. Beaches stretch out under pale blue skies that seem to vibrate with heat. There is something nostalgic about his paintings, yet they never feel stuck in the past. They feel suspended between now and memory. The light is contemporary, but the mood feels timeless. His brushwork is loose, sometimes almost restless, yet controlled. You can see the movement of his hand. You can feel the energy of the day he first stood there sketching. What makes Heidkamp important in contemporary landscape painting is his ability to make ordinary spaces feel cinematic. A simple courtyard becomes dramatic through color. A quiet street feels like a scene waiting to unfold. He understands that landscape is not only about nature, it is also about architecture, travel, and lived experience. With solo exhibitions at major galleries like Pace and Half Gallery, and works entering museum collections, Heidkamp continues to prove that painting light honestly, with confidence, still has power in today's art world. Shara Hughes. Shara Hughes does not paint landscapes the way tradition expects. Born in Atlanta in 1981, she takes the idea of nature and completely reshapes it into something emotional, explosive, and deeply personal. When you first see her work, color hits you immediately. Electric pink skies, acid green hills, deep purple shadows. Her trees twist and bend in unnatural ways. Moons float oversized above glowing horizons. Rivers curve through space like they are made of pure energy. Nothing feels stable, and that is exactly the point. Hughes blends abstraction and representation so seamlessly that you are never sure where reality ends and imagination begins. She builds her surfaces with thick, expressive brushstrokes. Paint is layered heavily, sometimes almost aggressively. You can see her decisions in real time. You can feel her movement across the canvas. The work feels spontaneous, but it is carefully constructed. Her landscapes are not about documenting a specific place. They feel like psychological spaces, like a forest built from memory, emotion, and instinct. The compositions often feel theatrical, almost like stage sets, where light and color play the leading role. Over the years, her presence has grown internationally. From the Whitney Biennial to exhibitions at ICA Boston, Flag Art Foundation in New York, and Kunsten Museum in Denmark, Hughes has established herself as one of the most distinct voices in contemporary landscape painting. What makes her important is her refusal to be subtle. She pushes landscape into a space of fantasy and intensity. In her hands, nature becomes expressive, exaggerated, and unapologetically alive. Anselm Kiefer. Anselm Kiefer does not paint gentle landscapes. He paints history, he paints memory, he paints the weight of civilization pressing down on the earth itself. Born in Germany, Kiefer grew up in the shadow of World War II, and that tension runs through his work. His canvases are massive, almost architectural. When you stand in front of them, you feel small. Forests appear burned. Fields look scorched and abandoned. Towers rise like ancient monuments from a forgotten empire. What makes Kiefer different is not just what he paints, but how he paints it. He does not rely on oil alone. He mixes in ash, straw, clay, even sheets of lead. The surface cracks and breaks. It feels like dry soil or old stone. His paintings look as if they have survived centuries of weather and conflict. They do not feel decorative, they feel excavated. Many of his landscapes reference Germanic myths, poetry, and philosophy. But you do not need to know the references to feel the gravity. The land in his paintings carries trauma. It carries knowledge. It feels like a battlefield between past and present. Over the decades, major retrospectives at institutions like the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Guggenheim Bilbao, and the Royal Academy have confirmed his position. Yet his work still feels raw and uncompromising. Kiefer transforms landscape into something monumental and confrontational. In his hands, the earth is not peaceful. It remembers everything. Friedrich Kunath. Friedrich Kunath paints landscapes that feel like emotional postcards from another dimension. Born in Germany in 1974 and now based in the United States, his work sits somewhere between melancholy and humor, sincerity and irony. At first glance, his paintings look soft and inviting. Pastel skies melt into peach, lavender and pale blue. A single cloud might hover above an open field. A quiet house stands alone at the edge of a glowing horizon. Broken fences, empty roads, fading sunsets. The scenes feel simple, almost innocent. But the longer you look, the more complex they become. Kunath blends everyday imagery with subtle, surreal touches. The mood often feels bittersweet, like a memory that is both comforting and slightly painful. There is a sense of longing in his landscapes. They feel suspended between hope and loss, between romantic beauty and quiet disappointment. His brushwork is controlled, smooth, and deliberate. Light plays a major role. The skies often glow softly, creating an atmosphere that feels cinematic yet restrained. Nothing screams for attention. The power is in the subtle tension between calm and emotional depth. Kunath's work has entered major institutions, including the Museum of Modern Art in New York and the Centre Pompidou in Paris. He has also exhibited at LACMA and MOMAPS1, confirming his strong position in contemporary painting. What makes Kunath important is his ability to make landscape feel personal without being literal. His scenes are not about geography. They are about mood, about reflection, about standing in a quiet place and feeling something you cannot fully explain. Nicolas Party. Nicolas Party has completely redefined what a contemporary landscape can look like. Born in Switzerland in 1980 and now based in the United States, he is known for bold, simplified scenes that reduce nature to pure color and shape. When you see a party landscape, you immediately notice the intensity. Mountains might be painted bright pink. Skies can glow in deep orange or electric blue. Trees are rounded, stylized, almost sculptural. Rivers flow like smooth ribbons of color. Everything feels clean, flat, and intentional. Party works heavily with pastel, a medium that allows him to create soft surfaces with powerful saturation. The texture is velvety, yet the color is striking. Instead of building heavy layers, he often strips the image down. He removes unnecessary detail. What remains are essential forms: a hill, a tree, a horizon line, nothing more. His compositions feel dreamlike, almost theatrical. There is no chaos, no visible struggle, just calm, controlled balance. The simplicity is not accidental, it is disciplined. He understands how color alone can carry emotion. Major solo exhibitions at institutions like the Frick Collection in New York and museums in Dallas have solidified his global reputation. His works are now held in important museum collections worldwide. What makes Nicolas' party significant is his clarity. In an era where complexity dominates, he chooses reduction. He proves that a mountain painted pink can feel just as powerful as a realistic one. For him, landscape is not about imitation. It is about transformation through color. Stefan Peters. Stefan Peters approaches landscape painting like a quiet experiment in perception. Born in Belgium in 1978, he creates scenes that look calm and controlled at first glance, but the longer you look, the stranger they become. His paintings often begin with something familiar: a forest, a river, a carefully rendered garden. The brushwork in these areas is smooth, realistic, almost traditional. Trees have depth, water reflects light, space feels believable. Then something interrupts the scene. A perfectly flat panel of color appears. It might look like a fogged window, a mirror, or a gradient screen placed directly in front of the landscape. The color shifts softly from one tone to another, but it remains completely flat. No texture, no illusion, just pure surface. This contrast is where the tension lives. The realistic landscape pulls you inward. The flat gradient pushes you back. Suddenly, you become aware of your own act of looking. Are you seeing through something? Or is the painting blocking your view? Peters' technique is extremely precise. The hard edges of the color panels meet the naturalistic forms with almost surgical accuracy. Nothing feels accidental. The balance between depth and flatness is carefully controlled. Exhibiting widely across Europe, Peters has earned recognition for turning landscape into a study of vision itself. He is not just painting trees or rivers, he is painting the experience of perception. In his hands, landscape becomes a question. How much of what we see is real, and how much is constructed by the eye? Ben Sledsens. Ben Sledsens represents a new generation of landscape painters who are not afraid of joy. Born in Belgium in 1991, he creates bright, optimistic scenes that feel almost childlike at first glance, yet carefully structured underneath. His paintings are filled with bold color. Forests glow in solid blocks of green. Rivers turn into smooth bands of lavender. Meadows appear as flat fields of yellow or gold. Houses, trees, and streets are simplified into clean shapes. Perspective is reduced. Detail is minimal. Everything feels intentional. There is a playful quality to his work. It can feel naive, but that simplicity is deceptive. Sledsens understands composition deeply. He balances shapes and colors so that the canvas feels harmonious and alive. The flattening of space is not accidental. It creates a decorative rhythm across the surface. What makes his landscapes interesting is the sense of optimism. Even ordinary places, a quiet room, a simple street, become utopian. Light seems to glow from within the paint. Shadows are gentle. Nothing feels heavy or dramatic. Instead, the mood is calm and open. Despite his young age, Sledsens has already entered important museum collections, including the Centraal Museum in Utrecht and the San Diego Museum of Contemporary Art. That institutional recognition signals that his voice matters. Ben Sledsens reminds us that landscape does not always have to be complex or dark to be meaningful. Sometimes reducing the world to color and shape can reveal a different kind of truth, one built on clarity, balance, and quiet happiness. Emma Webster. Emma Webster is part of a new wave of painters redefining what landscape can be in the digital age. Born in 1989, she blends technology and traditional oil painting in a way that feels both futuristic and deeply rooted in art history. Her process is what makes her unique. Webster first builds her landscapes inside virtual reality. She constructs forests, mountains, and temple-like structures in a digital space, adjusting scale, light, and perspective as if she were directing a film. Once the scene is complete, she translates that virtual world into oil paint on canvas. The result is striking. Her landscapes feel hyper-real, almost cinematic. Light cuts through trees like a spotlight on a stage. Ruins glow in dramatic contrast. Depth stretches far into the background, pulling the viewer into a world that looks believable but slightly surreal. There is a tension in her work between natural beauty and artificial construction. You feel the atmosphere of a real place, yet something feels heightened, almost too perfect. That tension is intentional. Webster is questioning how we experience nature in a world shaped by screens and simulation. Her work has been shown internationally, including exhibitions in Paris and Beijing, establishing her as a serious voice in contemporary painting. In her essay collection Lonescape, she reflects on this fusion of VR and oil, exploring how technology changes our relationship to landscape. Emma Webster proves that painting is not outdated in a digital world. Instead, she uses technology as a tool, expanding the possibilities of what a landscape can be. Huayi. Huayi stands at the intersection of tradition and innovation. Born in 1948, he is one of the most important figures in contemporary Chinese ink landscape painting, carrying forward centuries of history while pushing the medium into the present. At first glance, his work feels rooted in classical Chinese shanshui painting. Towering mountains rise through mist, waterfalls cut through rocky cliffs, pine trees cling to dramatic slopes, but look closer and you see the difference. His compositions are monumental in scale, often created on massive scrolls or screens that surround the viewer. Huayi uses traditional ink techniques with extraordinary control. Swirling black ink defines depth and movement, but he also introduces unexpected elements, including touches of gold and silver leaf. These metallic surfaces catch the light, giving ancient landscapes a subtle contemporary glow. The result is timeless, yet fresh. His paintings are immersive. You do not just observe them, you feel drawn into their vast terrain. The mist feels thick, the mountains feel solid and enduring. There is a sense of stillness, but also power. Exhibitions from Beijing to Honolulu, including major museum presentations, have confirmed his global reputation. Yet his work remains deeply connected to Chinese artistic heritage. Huayi proves that landscape painting does not need to abandon tradition to remain relevant. Instead, he shows that when mastered and reinterpreted with confidence, tradition itself can become contemporary. Lucas Arruda. Lucas Arruda is a painter who makes us question what a landscape really is. Born in Brazil in 1983, his work is less about geography and more about memory, mood, and atmosphere. Standing before one of his canvases, you are immediately struck by a sense of quiet, almost hypnotic stillness. Arruda's landscapes are hazy and luminous. Skies glow with soft light, horizons stretch out flat and distant, and the land seems to dissolve into a warm, enveloping mist. His scenes are intimate, inviting viewers to pause and reflect. Nothing is crowded, nothing is harsh. The focus is on subtle shifts of color and tone that capture a feeling rather than a place. He often calls these works not real places. They are cultural constructs, landscapes shaped by memory and perception. A sunset may feel familiar, yet impossible to locate. A field may remind you of somewhere you've been, but it exists only in emotion. This dreamlike quality gives his paintings a poetic resonance, transforming ordinary elements into something extraordinary. Arruda's oils are delicate yet precise, with careful layering that allows light and mist to shimmer across the canvas. Each work feels suspended in time, a moment captured not from life, but from recollection and imagination. His international acclaim reflects the universal power of his vision. Shows like Qu'importe le paysage at the Musée d'Orsay in Paris and Deserto Modello at Carré d'Art in Nîmes have introduced global audiences to his subtle mastery. Inclusion in Brazil's Panorama da Arte Brasileira Biennial in 2024 further cemented his role as a leading contemporary landscape painter. Michael Armitage. Michael Armitage is a painter who transforms East African landscapes into vivid theatrical worlds. Born in Kenya in 1984 and with Indonesian heritage, he works primarily on traditional Ugandan bark cloth, creating panoramic canvases that pulse with life, color, and culture. Armitage's work is layered and dense. Crowds, animals, and lush vegetation intermingle with folklore and ritual, forming scenes where reality and imagination collide. Nairobi streets might blend seamlessly into archetypal ceremonies, while whimsical creatures wander across tropical terrain. Every painting feels like a cultural collage, rich in narrative and atmosphere. His use of oil on bark cloth gives the work a unique texture and depth. The surface itself seems alive, absorbing light and color in ways that amplify the drama of each scene. The palette is tropical and vibrant, filled with deep greens, bold reds, and golden highlights, evoking the heat, humidity, and rhythm of the region. Armitage's landscapes are more than decoration. They are reflections on memory, politics, and society. His imagery addresses history and daily life, capturing both celebration and tension. Each composition feels cinematic, as if the viewer is stepping into a story unfolding in real time. Internationally, Armitage has mounted major exhibitions, including his 2026-27 survey at Venice's Palazzo Grassi, which highlighted how he blends social commentary with the lush traditions of East African landscape painting. Through his work, Michael Armitage proves that landscape can be a site of imagination, memory, and cultural storytelling, alive with both color and meaning. Clyde Aspevig. Clyde Aspevig is a master of the American West, capturing its grandeur with precision and passion. Born in 1953 and based in Montana, he is renowned for color-saturated vistas that feel alive, pristine, and immediate. Mountains, prairie coulees, and dense forests come to life under his brush, painted on plein air to faithfully capture the light, air, and mood of each scene. Aspevig's oils are rich and immersive. Morning light spills across rolling clouds, wild grasses ripple in gentle breezes, and the vastness of the West stretches toward distant horizons. Every detail is carefully observed, yet the overall effect is more than realistic. It's atmospheric. Viewers often remark that his paintings evoke the scent of pine, the chill of dawn, and the quiet majesty of open land. Art historian Daniel Calderon has called him one of the best living Western landscape painters, a recognition of his technical skill and his ability to translate nature into something that resonates emotionally. His work has earned a permanent place in museums and public spaces, including the American Prairie Center in Montana. In 2024, he was honored as a legacy artist in the Colorado Governor's Art Show, cementing his influence and ongoing contribution to the tradition of landscape painting. What sets Aspevig apart is his dedication to authenticity and immersion. Each painting is a moment captured in time, a celebration of the natural world, and an invitation for viewers to step into the quiet, breathtaking beauty of the American West. Through his work, Clyde Aspevig reminds us why landscape painting remains vital in contemporary art.